Single mom's heartwarming exit revealed. Billionaire discovers his daughter's amazing hidden wish. In a cramped Chicago suburb, a tenacity forged in sleepless nights and endless shifts illuminated Sarah's path. With the weight of 2 jobs resting on her weary shoulders, she embodied resilience. Each morning, the same routine played like an old record. Waking up Lily, her spirited daughter, was always a tender moment filled with shared laughter and warm breakfasts, despite their lack of luxury. As Lily darted around the apartment, excited for another school day, a flicker of hope nestled in Sarah's chest. How could something so small bring forth such immeasurable joy? Sarah's heart tightened at the thought of her daughter longing for the father she had never truly known. Daniel, the tech billionaire, was a ghost in their lives, lost in the luxury that surrounded him. She often caught Lily gazing at pictures online, her young heart filled with unspoken wishes of reconnection. "Mom, do you think Dad thinks about me?" Lily would ask, her voice barely above a whisper. Each time, Sarah felt the painful pang in her chest, unable to soothe the ache of a longing she couldn't fill. As block parties erupted in cheerful chaos around them, echoes of laughter bounced off the familiar brick buildings. The warmth of community surrounded Sarah but couldn't touch the prickling loneliness echoing inside her. She leaned on her fellow single mothers for support, sharing tears and triumphs in the small corner cafe down the street. Yet every morning unfolded like a repetition of sacrifice. Though her love sparked brightness in dark days, she couldn't shake the feeling of inadequacy as she watched wealth drive a wedge between her little family and what they could never have. One evening, the spark of an idea ignited in her mind. A charity gala hosted by Daniel to benefit local education loomed on the horizon. Despite her trepidation, desperation blurred her fears. Sarah knew she needed to attend. "I just have to ask, what if this leads to something better for Lily?" She swallowed her pride whole and prepared for the leap into heights she could only imagine. Unbeknownst to Sarah, a secret had sprouted in Lily's heart, a handwritten letter, one that shared the distilled essence of a daughter's love and longing. The letter made its way to Daniel through a serendipitous twist of fate. When Daniel read the delicate words, guilt poured over him like a torrential rain, drenching him in memories he couldn't shake. The ache for connection, reverberating in his chest, drew him toward the gala. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the night of the gala approached, Sarah, dressed in a simple yet elegant outfit, felt her heart race. This was it. She needed to fight for her daughter's future. Anxiety gripped her as she approached Daniel, a mix of vulnerability and anger swirling within her. She poured out her heart, revealing their struggles. Her voice trembled as she sought understanding and reconciliation. As Daniel listened, the walls of their bitter past began to crack under the weight of emotion. Just as clarity dawned, a sudden interruption rippled through the gathering. The chatter faded as Lily appeared, holding Sarah's hand and looking up with wide, hopeful eyes. In that moment, the tension surged, the unresolved question hung in the air: could they truly bridge the chasm of misunderstandings and seize this opportunity? The audience was left on the edge of their seats, curiosity igniting, yearning for what came next in this emotional journey. The crowd's whispers filled the large, elegant hall like a soft tide. Eyes turned toward Sarah and Lily, the center of an unexpected storm. Daniel's gaze fell on the little girl, and emotion crashed over him like a wave. She looked so much like him, the same tousled hair and curious spirit, yet so entirely unclaimed. "Who?" he began, the words catching in his throat. Sarah held Lily closer, instinctively blocking the world outside. She felt the weight of every gaze press upon her, heart pounding like a drum. Could she truly let Daniel in her and Lily's lives again? Mom, is that him? Lily's innocent voice cut through the tension, and Sarah's resolve wavered. She couldn't deny the longing in Lily's eyes. It's your father, sweetie, Sarah replied, her voice trembling. Daniel's heart ached at the sound of the word father, a title he hadn't embraced in years. Hi, Daddy, Lily said, her voice so small yet brimming with hope. Daniel's breath caught. How could such a simple word carry so much weight, so much longing? Hi, Lily, he finally managed, the ache in his chest tightening further. The moment stretched endlessly. Was this the opportunity Sarah had dreamed of for their daughter, a chance for connection? For a second, the gallery around them faded into a blur, encapsulated by the fresh bond forming in the air. Yet reality slammed back, and the world intruded once more. The gala resumed its buzz as people leaned in, thrilled by the unfolding drama. Questions abounded in their minds: what deep wounds lay beneath the surface? Would the billionaire rise to the occasion, or were they diving into the depths of unresolved pain? Sarah's protective instinct flared. Lily, let us go. This is not the time, she said, taking a half-step backward. But Lily tugged on her hand. Mom, please. I want to talk to him, her little voice trembled with a mix of determination and excitement. Daniel shifted, the raw connection of fatherhood pushing him forward. Sarah, he said softly, let us talk, just the three of us. Please. Sarah hesitated, her instinct to guard fiercely clashing with the need to allow Lily this moment. Memories flooded her, endless nights filled with tears, the struggle of single parenting, and the ache for family. She looked down at Lily, her daughter's excitement was palpable, her eyes shining like stars. How could she deny her this chance? Okay, she whispered, just above the noise, her heart racing. They found a quieter corner, mysterious shadows cast by flickering candlelight. For a moment, it felt like just the three of them, cocooned in a space all their own. The chatter around them faded, replaced by the racing beats of their hearts. Daniel knelt to meet Lily's gaze. I'm so sorry for not being there all this time, he murmured, his voice thick with regret. I wish I could change the past. I want to know you, Dad, Lily replied, her voice steady but soft. Are you coming back? Sarah's heart caught in her throat. Would Daniel make promises he couldn't keep? Hope and fear tangled in her chest. He swallowed hard. I want to try. For you, Lily, and for us. I need to understand who you are, and be part of your life if you'll let me. Lily's face lit with joy, but Sarah couldn't shake the gnawing worry. What does that mean for us? She questioned, a knot of anxiety tightening within her. Daniel locked eyes with Sarah, softness replacing the hardness of his past. It means I want to do better. For you too, Sarah. Can we start over? The air felt electric, tension mingling with possibility as words hung, rich with uncharted destinies. Just as hope pushed a fragile smile onto Sarah's lips, the unexpected happened. An urgent voice called out from the far side of the hall, shattering the moment. Daniel! We need you over here. People began to shuffle, pulling Daniel back into the chaotic swirl of the gala. Sarah's heart sank, doubts poured over her like icy water. Would he vanish again into the world of wealth and business, leaving them waiting, hoping? As Lily stretched out her hand, she and Sarah could only wait for an answer. Would Daniel answer the call and commit to a future, or would this moment slip away like so many before? Their fates hung in the balance, and the question echoed in the air, were they ready to take the leap, or would the past hold them back yet again? Daniel hesitated, torn between the urgent voice calling him back and the warmth radiating from his daughter. It was the kind of moment that felt weighty, like time itself had paused just for them. It took everything in him not to turn away, not to follow the call that felt tied to all his responsibilities in the business world. Yes. Lily chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. Dad, stay. But Daniel could see the flicker of anxiety in Sarah's eyes, the quest for stability battling with the hope that glimmered between them. It was a fragile moment, and he didn't want to break it. He started, then paused. Just 1 minute, he said finally, stepping back slightly and raising his voice just enough to address the unseen caller. I'll be right there. The tension that had filled the air shifted, but it wasn't resolved. Sarah pressed her lips together, concern etched across her features. Daniel, she began, but he cut her off gently. Please, just a moment. Let me hear what they need. I promise I won't be long. With a reluctant nod from Sarah, he turned his focus back to the gala, feeling the prickle of disappointment linger as he walked away. Tension rippled through his back as he felt their eyes on him, the hushed conversations drifting back into existence like wisps of smoke. Daniel, we need you for this pitch, a sleek woman with perfectly styled hair said, pulling him aside, urgency flooding her voice. We're losing traction with the board, and the merger is on the line. As he listened, Daniel's mind drifted back to the corner he had just left. Lily's hopeful face pulled at him. He hadn't been there for so long. Was he about to do it again? Daniel? The woman's voice cut through his reverie. Right, I'm with you, he said, but his heart wasn't in it. In that moment, he could feel the distance he had created in his own life. Families didn't thrive on half-hearted dedication. He tried to shift back, but the moment marched forward, and another part of him wanted to pull away even more, forgetting the fray of adults and industry that had haunted him for years. In his gut, he felt the call of something new, something that could make the hurt of the past feel a little less heavy. Meanwhile, Sarah watched from a distance, holding her breath. She had taken a leap, allowing hope to trickle back into her life after everything had fallen apart. Now she felt that hope wavering. Was she deluding herself? Mom, what's wrong? Lily asked, tugging at her sleeve, oblivious to the emotional battle waging within her mother. Nothing, sweetheart, Sarah replied, forcing a smile, though her heart was thudding with doubt. Just waiting. Lily's eyes sparkled with an unwavering trust that pierced through Sarah's worries. She could feel the little girl's belief in her father like a tether between them. Just then, Daniel looked back, catching Sarah's eye. He gave a small nod, one that seemed to promise he was still fighting for them, however far he had momentarily drifted. But as he turned back to the crowd, time resumed its march. Decisions had to be made, choices weighed, one foot in the past, and one stepping into an uncertain future. Could he break free from the "you will fail, you have done wrong" mentality? Would Sarah allow herself to trust him again? With each second that passed, the echoes of their past surged. Sarah took a deep breath. Just take it one step at a time, she whispered to herself, but was it really that simple? Suddenly, Daniel broke free from the mass of industry. He strode over, eyes set with determination. I'm here, he declared, looking at both mother and daughter. I choose both of you. Can we talk? The energy shifted in the room, but a new voice broke through the moment, demanding their attention yet again, almost as if fate was playing its hand relentlessly. Daniel. I can't believe you would even think of coming back. The words hung heavy and accusatory, slicing through the possibility of their shared future. All eyes shifted back, and now the weight felt unbearable. Sarah, heart racing, clenched her fists. How much could they endure? Would Daniel's path now be obstructed by the ghosts of his past? All looked on, waiting with bated breath, as uncertainty tightened its grip once more. Daniel's heart dropped as he turned toward the source of the voice. The sound clipped the air like a knife. His former business partner, Casey, stood there, arms crossed, her expression a mixture of disbelief and accusation. The gravity of the moment pressed down on Daniel, saturating the gala with an unspoken tension. What are you doing here, Daniel? Casey continued, a bite lacing her tone. You can't just waltz in and pretend everything is fine. You've abandoned your responsibilities. The noise of the crowd faded into a dull hum as Daniel stood frozen, a mix of indignation and guilt surging within him. He glanced at Sarah, whose eyes widened in a flash of uncertainty and dismay. Lily's small, innocent smile remained unchanged, but Daniel could see the cracks in Sarah's mask of reassurance. She too felt the weight of the past. "Casey, listen," he began, but she cut him off. "No, you don't get to make excuses. You left us all hanging. The company is on the brink, and you've chased after some fantasy life with your family. What about the merger?" Daniel squared his shoulders, fighting against the urge to retreat. "That's not what this is about," he said firmly. "I'm trying to be a better father and husband. Can't you see that?" The murmurs grew around them, people exchanging glances, eyes darting back and forth between him and Casey. He felt like the spotlight was turned on him, stripped bare before a crowd that only saw his failures. "Being here won't fix anything," Casey replied, her voice lowered but dripping with contempt. "You think things can just change because you decide to play house? Those decisions can't be taken back." The air hung thick, each second stretching painfully as Daniel struggled for the right words. Did they see him as just a failure? Did he truly have the right to change? He thought of Sarah's promise to take everything one step at a time, and in that moment, he could almost see the path forward, yet it was obscured by clouds of doubt. He turned back to Sarah, searching her face for something, anything that would anchor him. But her bright eyes were clouded, caught in the storm of decision and expectation. "Daniel," she began softly, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know if we can go through this again." Lily, still tugging at Sarah's sleeve, looked uncertain but hopeful. "Mommy, are you okay?" The innocence in her voice was a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding around them. "Listen, we'll handle this later," he said hurriedly, directing the words to both Casey and Sarah, attempting to hold back the rising tide of despair. "Right now, I need to focus on my family." But Casey wasn't done, her voice rose, drawing even more eyes. "You think you can just stroll back and play the hero? This isn't some simple fix. You've walked away from your life, and now you want to reinvent yourself without facing the consequences. That's not fair to anyone." "Enough!" Daniel finally roared, the outburst startling the crowd. "I will not let you tear this family apart again. You don't know what I've been through, what we've been through." For a heartbeat, silence engulfed them. Then, amidst the tension, he felt Lily's tiny hand grip his leg. The unconditional love radiated from her, igniting sparks of clarity in the chaos. Daniel kneeled to her level, looking deep into her trusting eyes. "Sweetheart, everything will be okay. I promise." Behind him, Casey scoffed softly, but he drowned her out. He could feel the turning tide, the fragile balance of his family hanging in the balance. He stood, summoning every ounce of determination within him. "Sarah, I want to be here. I choose you and Lily. I've made mistakes, but I'm ready to correct them. Let me try," he urged, his heart laid bare. As he spoke, the crowd was silent, tension coiling like a spring. But somewhere in that silence, a spark of hope lingered, asking if they could move forward. And just then, Lily piped up, her voice breaking the thick air with innocence and certainty. "Can we have a day at the park, Daddy? Just us?" The question sliced through the chaos, a reminder of the simple joys they had once shared. But could they reclaim those moments? As both Daniel and Sarah exchanged glances filled with questions, the stakes grew more palpable. Would they rebuild their trust and face the ghosts, or would the shadows of the past continue to loom? Daniel's heart raced as he prepared for the next step, whatever it might hold. Daniel took a deep breath, trying to steady the whirlwind of emotions churning inside him. The gala suddenly felt smaller, more suffocating. He could still hear the hum of conversation simmering with speculation, but they faded as he focused solely on Sarah and Lily. The moment hung in the air like a fragile bubble, waiting to pop with an unexpected jolt. "Dad," Lily said again, her voice sweet and simple, a thread of normalcy in the chaos. "The park?" The crooked smile on her face was a balm to Daniel's raw nerves. It pulled him back to brighter times, the laughter, the sunshine, the swings gently swaying in the breeze. Memories flooded him like a wave crashing over the shoreline, washing away the doubts that had so recently consumed him. "Absolutely, kiddo. Just the three of us," he replied, his voice more assured than he felt. There was a flicker of hope in Sarah's eyes, but uncertainty still loomed. Casey's arms crossed tighter, her stance rigid. "You think that's enough? A day at the park can't fix what's broken, Daniel. Life isn't as simple as a picnic and some swings." "Maybe not," he said, his voice steady, "but it's a start. Isn't that what you want too? To see if we can start fresh?" He turned to Sarah, searching her eyes for a glimmer of agreement. I want to believe that, Daniel," Sarah finally managed, her voice shaking slightly. "But it feels like we're just holding on to a thread that's ready to snap." A tear shimmered in the corner of her eye, and it felt like a dagger piercing through Daniel's resolve. "I know I've messed up. I get that. But I'm willing to put in the work if you are. Just give me a chance." The noise around them receded slightly, leaving only murmurs as people watched the unfolding drama. Daniel's heart raced. Would Sarah be willing to take that leap? The stakes felt so high a single choice could tilt the balance of their fragile family. Suddenly, Lily tugged on his hand, her little fingers soft yet insistent. "Mommy, please. I want our family to be happy again." Daniel found himself smiling at his daughter's unwavering belief in magic. But could happiness be magically restored? "Okay, Lily," Sarah said, wiping her eyes, her voice softening. "Let's talk about it. But it won't be easy." Daniel nodded, filled with gratitude. "I'm ready for whatever it takes." But before they could delve deeper into this fragile piece, a raised voice interrupted. "Daniel." Casey called, her anger boiling over. "You can't just sweep everything under the rug. This isn't over just because you want it to be." "I know it's not over," he shot back, frustration mingling with despair. "But I can't keep fighting against you. Not while I'm trying to mend what I broke." The back and forth felt exhausting. Daniel felt the tension notch higher as he glanced at Sarah. Would this war of words push them apart even further? Lily, sensing the darkening clouds, took a few steps forward, her small frame standing between the adults. "Can we all just be nice? Can we try?" Her eyes sparkled with innocence, blissfully unaware of the stakes. The crowd shifted uncomfortably, the air thick with anticipation. They had all seen the fractures of Daniel's past laid bare tonight. But could they witness a reconstruction? Was it possible? Lily, Daniel began, kneeling once more, holding her hands. "Trying is all I ask. But it means being honest and facing the mess I've made." Behind them, Casey shook her head, almost in disbelief. "And what about the company? What about everything you've left behind? You can't just walk away from that." Suddenly, the weight of past decisions crashed over Daniel. He had started to hope that maybe he could weave together a life that balanced his family with his career, but Casey's voice pulled him back like a harsh reality check. "Why can't you see?" He snapped back, frustration boiling. "I'm trying to prioritize what matters most. I'll make it work somehow. Just let me try." He looked at Sarah, the softening expression in her eyes revealing the slightest thread of warmth and understanding. Could this really be their chance? As he lost himself in her gaze, he didn't notice Casey stepping closer until she cleared her throat, her voice now surprisingly calm. "So, what's your plan, Daniel?" she challenged. "How will you balance everything when you can't even choose what's right in front of you?" Daniel's heart raced again, uncertainty curling in his stomach. He had just grasped at the fragile thread of hope, and now it felt like it was slipping away once more. Silence encased them, the tension hanging thicker than ever. "Give me some time to figure it all out," he finally said, his voice steadying. "But for now, I'll start with my family." Lily's hopeful, innocent face held steadfast as Daniel's pulse quickened with a new surge of determination. At that moment, he knew he had to confront more than just his past. He needed to forge a future. But just as he felt the spark of resolve igniting within him, Casey backed away, her gaze sharp with a knowing glance. "Don't take too long, Daniel. You might not get another chance." An inexplicable weight sank in his chest as Daniel realized the truth in her warning. He wasn't just battling old ghosts, but he was building a new path. The stakes were higher than he thought, and the pressure was on. Would he be able to seize this fragile moment and turn it into something lasting, or would it slip through his fingers like the others? The answer lingered just out of reach, shrouded in uncertainty. Daniel's mind raced as the crowd around him buzzed with murmurs. He still felt the weight of Casey's words, each syllable pressing against him like a weight on his chest. Time was not on his side. He needed to act, but the clarity he sought felt elusive amid the tension that hung in the air. "Lily," he said, kneeling back down to her level, looking deep into her doe-like eyes, "why don't you tell Mommy and me what you want to do at the park?" Excitement lit up Lily's face, as if a switch had been flipped. "I want to go on the swings," she exclaimed, bouncing on her tiny feet. "And then we can have a picnic, just like last time." That innocent joy filled Daniel, casting a momentary light on the heavy shadows of doubt that lurked in the corners of his mind. He glanced at Sarah, catching her smile as she fought back tears. This small moment felt monumental, the kind that could be a stepping stone if they allowed it. "Sarah," he coaxed gently, still holding Lily's hands. "What if we planned a day together? Just us three? We can make some new memories." But Casey interrupted with a shake of her head, pulling Daniel back into the storm. "You think this will be easy? Families can't just pretend they're whole again with a day at the park. What about the other things that need fixing?" Daniel's heart thudded against his chest. He wanted to scream at Casey to stop, but she was right, in a way. How could he reconcile the reality of their situation with the dream of a perfect family outing? "Maybe it won't be easy," Daniel said, forcing his voice to remain calm, "but it's a start. Don't you see, Casey? I can't do this without trying. Our daughter deserves it." "Deserves what, Daniel?" Casey shot back. "Another empty promise?" He could feel the crowd's eyes weighing in on the tension, a collection of unexpected judge and jury. It made him feel exposed, vulnerable. Lily glanced between them, her brows furrowing. "Mommy. Daddy, please stop fighting." Her small voice cracked, twisting every heart around them. Daniel felt his stomach clench. He had to protect Lily from this ugliness, this grown-up chaos that she didn't understand. He stood, a flash of determination igniting within him. "You're right, Lily. No more fighting." He turned back to Sarah, his eyes earnest. "I need you to believe that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You mean the world to me and I don't want to lose you." With each word, Daniel felt a knot untie in his heart. He was done hiding behind excuses. The time for action was now. Sarah took a step closer, her dense wall of uncertainty appearing to soften. "It's not just me, Daniel. It's us. We need to be honest about the past, where we went wrong." "I know," he whispered, "I'm ready to face it. But I need your help. We can't pretend the past didn't happen, but we can build a new path." Casey's expression shifted slightly, less antagonistic. Maybe she could sense the potential for change, too. But just as Daniel felt a glimmer of hope, Casey's phone rang, pulling her attention away. "Excuse me," she said curtly, stepping back to take the call. Daniel turned back to Sarah and Lily. Then let's South plan our park day, he suggested, a faint smile playing on his lips. Lily jumped up and down, her bright spirit infectious. Yes. Can we have ice cream? Sarah chuckled softly despite the heaviness that still rested in her eyes, a flicker of joy ignited. Of course. Ice cream is a must. As they began to discuss the picnic, a sense of lightness enveloped them. Daniel felt as if the ground was shifting beneath their feet, a promise of something new. But in that moment of joy, the ringing phone and Casey's hushed conversation loomed over them like a storm cloud. Daniel's chest tightened. He couldn't help but wonder whether this fragile connection could withstand the inevitable reality check. As they continued dreaming aloud, Daniel felt the clock ticking, the pressure mounting behind him. Would they make it to that day in the park, or would the winds of doubt scatter their plans before they could even begin to heal? Only time would tell. Daniel barely registered the world around him as he focused on Sarah's eyes. Each passing second felt heavier than the last, the looming shadows of uncertainty and fear creeping back into the edges of his mind. Lily was dancing around them, her enthusiasm like a beacon cutting through the fog, but his heart still raced. "Let us decide what we'll pack," Sarah said, her voice gentle yet firm. "I can make those sandwiches filled with that cheese Lily loves. You remember?" "Of course," Daniel replied, a nostalgic smile breaking through. It was a little moment, but it felt meaningful, like a ribbon being tied back together. Lily grabbed Sarah's hand and tugged. "Can we take grapes?" "I want grapes, Mommy." She giggled, spinning in circles, the carefree innocence radiating joy. "Grapes it is." "We could also take some cookies, your special ones, Daniel," Sarah said with a hint of warmth that made Daniel's heart skip. The tiniest of connections blossomed there, like a flower pushing through cracks in concrete. Casey, returning with a serious look etched on her face, interrupted the moment. "Daniel, we need to talk," she said, her tone taking a turn. The crowd thickened, the air growing dense with tension. Daniel felt Lily's joyous bubble pop at the shift. "What is it?" he asked, keeping his voice steady as Lily's hand slipped to his side. "It's about your plans and what happens next," Casey said, her voice low but firm. "I can't let you make promises you won't keep. You need a plan in place, something real to show Sarah, something that proves you're serious." Daniel wanted to argue, but there was weight to her words. He knew she was right, nothing would come from vague promises. "What do you suggest?" he asked, feeling the tension stretch like a taut wire. "You can't just plan a day and pretend it fixes everything," she replied. "Get to the root of the problem. It's deeper than just a picnic." The hurt in her eyes made Daniel realize she was reflecting what she once felt, lost and alone amidst the chaos. "I want to fix it," Daniel urged. "I am ready to face everything, just help me. Just tell me what that looks like." Casey studied him. "You need to show Sarah you're committed. It's time to confront the truth you've both been avoiding." "Does that mean we can still go to the park?" Lily chirped, looking hopeful. Daniel glanced at Sarah, searching her face for any sign of agreement, feeling the pressure of the crowd swirling around them like shadows. "Let us not make any promises, sweetie," Sarah said softly to Lily. "We're working through this, but we'll figure something out, right?" Daniel took a deep breath, resolve building within him. "All right, Casey, what do I need to do?" "Start with honesty," she said, lowering her voice. "Talk about your fears, your mistakes. Open up, but more importantly, listen. That's where the healing begins." He nodded, feeling the weight of the challenge before him. In the thick of it all, he felt an unexpected spark of courage. "I'm ready to be honest. But I also want to protect Lily," he said fervently. "Good, that's a start," Casey replied, relief softening her features. Lily was busy pulling at his shirt. "Daddy, can we go now?" "We will, sweetheart," he said, kneeling next to her, his heart swelling with affection. "But first, I need to have a real conversation with Mommy." As they prepared to dive deep, Daniel felt the moment shift, a seismic change just around the corner. He clutched Lily's hand tighter, knowing that the journey would not be easy, but the hope that draped over them felt like a shield. Yet, the clock was still ticking. The truth sat just beneath the surface, waiting to rise. Would it bring them together in healing, or shatter the moment into pieces? Daniel took a breath and stepped toward honesty, ready to confront what lay ahead. But he couldn't shake the feeling that bigger challenges loomed just out of sight. Daniel took another deep breath, feeling the gravity of the moment settle on his chest. He glanced at Lily, her innocence untouched by the swirling emotions around them, and he thought about how much he wanted to keep it that way. "Okay, Sarah," he began, his voice trembling but steady. "We need to talk." Sarah's gaze shifted, evaluating him as she tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. The ambient noise of the crowd faded into the background, leaving only the thumping of Daniel's heart. "What do you want to say?" she asked softly, her tone a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. "I guess I need to start by saying that I've been avoiding a lot." He paused, running a hand through his hair. "Avoiding what this entire situation means for you, for us, and especially for Lily." Her expression softened, the tension around her eyes easing slightly. "Daniel, we both have our fears. It's okay to admit them." He nodded, his stomach twisting. "I've always thought I could fix everything with grand gestures. But maybe what you need is for me to just be here, to be honest. To admit that I can be scared, too." His heart raced as he continued. "I've made mistakes by trying to hide my fears, believing they'd disappear if I ignored them long enough. But I can see now that they've only pushed us further apart." Sarah's eyes glimmered, a mix of surprise and encouragement. "What are you trying to say?" "I want to show you I care. I want to put in the effort. But I need to know how to do that, and how to help you." He took a step closer. "Tell me what you need from me." There was a long pause, her eyes searching his. "I need to see that you're really invested in this, in being a part of our lives." The vulnerability in her words hung heavy in the air, rooted in years of accumulated hurt and hope. Lily tugged at Daniel's sleeve again, breaking the intensity. "Can we go to the park soon?" "Soon, sweetheart," he murmured, giving an apologetic smile to Sarah. "You were saying?" "I need you to be present," she replied, her voice a whisper. "Not just here physically, but mentally. I need you to support us, and that means facing your challenges head-on." The challenge of vulnerability didn't slip past him. Daniel felt a familiar dread clawing at the back of his mind. "I am trying, I promise. But that means unraveling everything I've built up, everything I thought was enough." "I know," Sarah said, placing a comforting hand against his arm. "But we both have to work together. That's how we'll break the cycle." He swallowed hard, contemplating her words. "It sounds simple, but we both know it's complicated." I'm terrified." "Me too," she admitted, her honesty drawing a tighter bond between them. "But we can't let fear stop us from trying again." Daniel looked at Lily, who was now skipping around them, blissfully unaware of the gravity of adult conversations. "I want to try for her, for both of you." The shadows in his heart began to recede as he dared to hope. "So, does this mean I get to plan our park day? Will you join us?" Sarah's smile hinted at something brighter than just agreement. "I'd love that. But remember, it's just a start." Lily squealed in celebration. "Yay! Picnic time." The tiniest crack of joy opened, but Daniel felt the clock ticking again, evidence of the many challenges ahead. Was the effort and honesty they shared genuinely enough to bridge the past? As they turned to head toward the car, Daniel felt both buoyed by connection and burdened by uncertainty. But one question clung to his mind: what else might they uncover as they ventured down this path together? He knew only one thing for sure: nothing would ever be the same. And with the park on the horizon, a shocking revelation loomed, waiting to unveil its power. The car ride to the park was filled with excitement. Lily chattered non-stop about the sandwiches they would pack, the blanket they would lay down, and the games they might play. Daniel exchanged quick glances with Sarah, who sat beside him, a faint smile creeping onto her lips as she listened to their daughter's joyful musings. "What do you think she wants to play first?" Sarah asked, her tone light, but Daniel could sense the underlying tension of unspoken words. "I bet she'll want to run around and play tag," Daniel replied, memories flooding back of chasing Lily through fields, her laughter ringing bright. "Or maybe find the biggest leaf she can." Sarah laughed softly, and that sound warmed Daniel's heart. It was a sound he hadn't heard much lately, and he craved more of it. However, as they pulled into the park's parking lot, reality loomed larger than the warmth of their little bubble. Daniel's heartbeat quickened with the anticipation of what was next, not just the picnic, but the conversations that would follow. He turned off the engine and stared at the park entrance. It was a beautiful day, the sun bright and the air filled with the scent of spring. "Ready?" he asked, attempting to mask his own nervousness with casual enthusiasm. Lily bounced in her seat, her eyes shining. "Let us go." They climbed out, and as they walked toward the grassy area, Daniel felt a mix of hope and apprehension rack his nerves. He set the picnic blanket down and watched as Lily darted off, her energy seemingly boundless. "Do you want to help me make the sandwiches?" he asked Sarah, waving her over. "Sure," she smiled, and together they began laying out the food. Peanut butter and jelly, a few chips, and some fresh fruit. The simplicity of it felt comforting, the bitter taste of heated discussions temporarily on pause. As they worked, Daniel's mind spun with thoughts of how to navigate their future. About earlier he started hesitantly, testing the waters of the moment. He caught Sarah's gaze, and the softness in her eyes pushed him to continue. "I know we've both avoided some tough conversations. But now that we're back together, I want to confront things, all the things one step at a time. I'm committed to making it work." "Really?" she asked, her brow slightly raised, measuring his sincerity. "You're ready to face everything?" The question hung in the air, heavy with doubt and hope. "I have to be," he said firmly, feeling the surge of determination swell in his chest. "For us. For Lily." Their daughter returned, plopping down on the blanket. "Sandwiches," she proclaimed, her little hands clapping together. Daniel's heart lightened at the sight, but a deeper concern remained. But what if it means facing things that hurt too much? He pondered silently. As they ate and watched Lily play, Sarah paused, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've held on to too much pain, Daniel. It takes courage to let go." He nodded, her words resonating deep within him. Maybe this was the moment to commit to that courage. Just then, Lily squealed, running back to them with a crumpled paper in her hand. Her voice was filled with excitement. "Mom! Dad! Look what I found." "What is it, sweetheart?" Daniel asked, a smile on his face as he braced for her enthusiasm. Lily unfolded it with trembling hands, revealing what looked like a treasure map scribbled hastily in colorful markers. "It's a map to a hidden wish," she declared, eyes wide. Sarah frowned, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. A hidden wish? Daniel's heart raced with curiosity. What was this about? Lily jumped up, her excitement contagious. "Can we follow it? Please, please." As Daniel and Sarah exchanged glances, 1,000 questions buzzed in his mind. What hidden wish? What surprises awaited them on this unexpected adventure? "Okay, sweetie, we can follow it," Daniel said, allowing the joy of the moment to sweep him away. But he couldn't shake the feeling that the map might lead to more than just a fun day at the park. As they began to follow Lily, the mystery loomed ahead. What would this adventure reveal? Would it help them face their pasts or bind them even tighter in ways they hadn't anticipated? The park stretched out before them, but Daniel felt an awakening inside, something deep shifting. And as they ventured into the unknown, he couldn't help but wonder, could this hidden wish finally unlock the path to healing? With Lily leading the way, the trio followed the colorful lines of her makeshift treasure map. Laughter streamed from Lily, echoing through the trees, while Sarah and Daniel walked behind, side by side. Each step felt lighter than the last, the worries of the past fading into the background, if only temporarily. Lily guided them to an open field adorned with vibrant flowers, each bloom swaying gently in the breeze. She stopped at the center and spun around, her eyes twinkling. "This is where the treasure is," she exclaimed, her excitement spilling over. Daniel exchanged a glance with Sarah, both of them smiling at Lily's enthusiasm. "All right, treasure hunter," Daniel said, kneeling beside her. "What do we need to find?" Lily held up the map, pointing to an X drawn hastily with green crayon, her small finger trembling with anticipation. "Right here. We have to dig." Sarah chuckled softly. "I didn't know we were on an excavation mission." But the playful challenge lit something inside her, a flicker of joy that had been absent for too long. "Let us do it," Daniel echoed, feeling the childlike wonder fill the air around them. They all knelt together, the world dissolving into a moment of togetherness. As they dug with their hands, throwing dirt aside, laughter intertwined with hope, and each scoop felt like a step closer to a new beginning. After a few moments, Lily yelled, "I found something." She pulled out a small, weathered box, her face alight with pure disbelief and excitement. "What is it?" Sarah asked, brushing dirt from her hands and leaning closer. Daniel's heart raced, wondering what treasure lay inside this little box, not just for Lily, but perhaps for them all. Lily opened the box, revealing a collection of colorful stones held snugly inside. "They're magic," she declared, clutching one in each hand. "They'll help us make wishes." Daniel and Sarah froze for a brief moment, the weight of the small stones igniting memories of childhood dreams and whispered hopes. They began to imagine, not just the wishes Lily might make, but also the dreams they had long buried, overshadowed by the burdens they had carried. "Okay, let us make a wish together," Sarah suggested, her voice filled with warmth. "Something we all want." Lily beamed, nodding enthusiastically. "I wish for us to be a happy family." The three words slipped out so effortlessly, buoyed by innocence, wrapping around Daniel and Sarah's hearts like a soft embrace. Tears prickled in Sarah's eyes as she squeezed Lily's hand. "I wish for more days like this," Daniel added softly, searching Sarah's gaze. He could see the unspoken bond forming anew, a fragile thread of connection that glimmered brightly. "I wish for love," Sarah whispered, her voice catching for just a moment. "Real love, deep and lasting." Lily clutched the stones tightly, her tiny fingers digging in as she looked between her parents, confusion flickering in her eyes. "So we're really going to be happy?" Daniel nodded, more slowly than he wanted, fears temporarily washed away in the flood of hope from their wishes. "Yes, Lily. That's our goal." Sarah reached out, resting her palm on Daniel's arm as if grounding them both in that moment of possibility. "Whatever it takes, we'll do it together," she said, her gaze steady and fierce as they held hands, forming a triangle of strength and trust. In that tranquil park, surrounded by the colors of nature and the laughter of a little girl, Daniel felt a spark ignite within him, the belief that they could indeed weave a bright future together. The challenges wouldn't disappear overnight, but they were ready to face them. "Now, let us celebrate our wishes," Daniel suggested, rising to his feet and picking up Lily in one swift motion, making her squeal with delight. As they ventured to a nearby picnic table, Daniel stole glances at Sarah, and the warmth in her smile filled him with hope. They began to unpack the sandwiches, sharing jokes and savoring every moment in the sun-drenched park. And while today was just the start of their uphill climb, with unspoken conversations still ahead, they had made the choice, a loud declaration of their commitment to rebuilding what had once felt irreparably broken. Lily, busily spreading peanut butter on bread, looked up, her innocent voice cutting through the air. "Okay, so who's first? What's your wish?" In that moment of sunlight, laughter, and magic, the world felt full of promise, and hidden wishes danced on the winds around them. Daniel locked eyes with Sarah, looking forward with a sense of shared resilience. They had taken the leap into healing, into family, into love. Together, they were ready to embrace the journey ahead. And as they turned towards their daughter, the spark of something deeply rooted in hope ignited in each of their hearts. A new chapter had begun. It was just the start, but for the first time in a long while, everything felt right. Are you ready to embark on your own journey of healing and transformation? Join us, and together we can grow. Don't wait not another second. Subscribe immediately to our channel to never miss our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to help the algorithm show this content to those who need a pinch of hope today. Comment below your thoughts, your feelings about this heartwarming conclusion. Your voice matters. And share this moment instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. You need to spread the joy.